All right, Talofan, good morning, everyone. We're very happy to welcome to Samoa the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Right Honourable Vaovasamanaia Winston Peters, his colleague, the Minister of Health, and members of their delegation. This is the first formal visit of the Deputy Prime Minister since the election of the new government last year. It's an opportunity for us to reconnect and renew relations with the new administration, and of course to review areas of cooperation. Today, the Deputy Prime Minister and I signed the Samoa-New Zealand Partnership Agreement, reflecting areas of cooperation we have mutually agreed to for the next 5 years. The last agreement was signed in 2019. As you all know, Samoa is hosting the CHOGM meeting in October of this year, and I wish to acknowledge the significant assistance by the New Zealand government to assist with our hosting. It is reflective of the special relationships under the New Zealand-Samoa Treaty of Friendship. Always with these discussions is, of course, the different programs that we have to assist in capacity building in different sectors and areas where we recognize that there are significant gaps. I'd like to formally, in this press conference, welcome again. Vaovasamanaia is no stranger to us. He's a Samoan Matai. We're very happy to receive him back. He's an old friend and he needs no introduction to Samoa. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Indeed, it's a pleasure and a privilege for my colleague, the Honourable Shane Betty. After the waiting, I cannot get past this, I can tell you. Sorry, Shane. Shane Betty, the Minister for Health, and also, significantly, the Minister for Pacific Peoples, to have met you and had a conversation today, which we thought was very worthwhile. The agreement we've signed is also an update from 2019, but the import and purpose and significance of our conversation is that two countries with significantly shared Pacific values and with the prospect of far greater cooperation possibly going forward, have had this conversation and have this agreement, and we are looking forward to CHOGM and making a greater impression indeed upon the Commonwealth at that point in time. So this has been a very important meeting today. We've got a lot of work to do into the future, but we need, I suppose, to spend some time celebrating and commemorating the great parts of our relationships whilst we work on those that need work in the future, such as seasonal workers, immigration, whole lots of range of things going forward in New Zealand. So Shane, Reddy and I are very delighted that you took the time to see us and saw us so soon in this administration, bearing that, we did ask, can we come? And that's a very Pacific way of doing things sometimes. Thank you.
Questions, Lani?
Thank you. My question is to both leaders from Samoa, and it's with regards to the RC recruitment scheme. I know it's a problem, it's a concern in Samoa of having more people going overseas for these seasonal workers opportunities. But what's the possibility of both government? I know that Samoa is one of the highest countries with the number of overstayers in New Zealand. What's the possibility of both countries or government entertaining the idea of using overstayers for this program rather than recruiting Samoans from?
I think that's yours.
Well, can I just say, it's 2007, and I was the minister in charge of the regional scheme you're talking about, so this is not new. And the second thing was, our purpose was to work with the Pacific nations involved and ensure that they were significantly in control of those who would come, why they would come, how they would come, and in their going home, because that meant that others could come also to expand their economic life and not just be one group of people. That was the Samoan agreement we had worked on, where the significant choice of those people and the control and the request for them to return was all part of the Samoan commitment in this arrangement, which I think was then and still is the only way to go. Because in the end, if people were to overstay, it means another worthy Samoan, male or female, will not get the chance, which wasn't the deal that the people in the leadership made the commitment on. Now, you suggest we reward overstayers by employing them. Well, it sounds plausible until you realise that we inherited 128,000 new people to New Zealand in 1 year till the end of October 2023. We have got a massive problem, which I'm sure you'll understand, to house, to provide the health systems required, the education system and the infrastructure system, let alone the income system that they will require. So there's a lot of pressure on the New Zealand government, which we'd hope to share with you on that matter. It's the volume now. 128,000 is unparalleled voluntarily anywhere in the world per capita for a country like our size.
Okay, don't I get an answer?
Yes.
I think just on the labour mobility, that's been an issue that our government has been reviewing. I think we're settling on the policy, especially in terms of the sending conditions. I think Vaovasa, he has explained very clearly the New Zealand position. Your question, Langi, about utilising overstayers, I think the point made by Vaovasa is that defeats the purpose. The people who are here, the scheme is seasonal and circular, meaning they go for a period of time and come back, whereas those who have gone ahead and overstayed, I think that's a different set of circumstances. And as overstayers, the New Zealand government has to address those. But in terms of the labour mobility, it's very clear the founding principles for the scheme. The issues arise when the goalposts are moved. I think New Zealand has been quite good in maintaining the essence of seasonal and circular. But then we see, I think our neighbours in Australia, there are now other evolving options which moves away from the original agreement, and that is an issue that we will continue to raise with our receiving countries.
Can I just say one thing to add to what the Prime Minister says? Our position is to act in loco parentis. That means to be in the stead of the people, the parents of the people that come to our country. Our job is to make sure that the employers pay them properly, treat them properly, house them properly, and everything is done in the way we agreed. That's our obligation. That's the one we entered into in 2007. That's the one we want to stay loyal and true to. Sorry, but that's where we are.
We're celebrating 61 years of anniversary.
New Zealand media, please, Barbara.
Okay.
Talofa Prime Minister. Kia ora, Mr. Peters. How confident are you, Prime Minister, given the enormity of CHOGM, that you're on track for this, and what exactly do you need from New Zealand? And Mr. Peters, will you give it?
Well, can I respond to what New Zealand has already done? They have assisted us in the area of accommodation with the funding that will allow us to bring in a cruise ship, similar to the SIDS in 2014. But very early on in the planning, especially in the areas of security, New Zealand has reached out and we're probably the first task force to get going in preparation for CHOGM. How confident I'm very confident. I'm a Pacific Islander. We're used to hosting people, but we will host people in the Pacific way.
My answer to that is, look, we've got every confidence that there's going to be a serious success. Why? Because you've got a stable democracy, you've got people who know how to organise themselves, and you've got some people that, more than most, respect the hierarchy of order, and in this case democratic order. So we've got every belief it's going to be a great success.
Thank you. Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, my question is, we are celebrating 61 years of friendship under the Treaty of Friendship. Is the government looking at granting Samoa under the treaty free travel visa, or is there a possibility of visiting the island?
Can I say this is something we've heard you. It's under consideration. We have in the past, for sporting reasons, made changes, quite dramatic changes, because we knew that the cost would be just too high. Particularly this is the case of FIFA. So I don't, because I'm not the Minister of Immigration, and I'm here with the Minister of Health, and what we don't do is speak out of turn. Unlike some people in politics, our job is to go back and consult our colleagues, work on it, and give you an answer that will be real and will be factual.
If I can just add to that, this is an ongoing discussion. I mean, in terms of opportunities for Samoa travelling to New Zealand, we have the quota system, the normal applications for, family travel, business travel. I think because it has moved online, it has presented difficulties for our people because we're not up on the IT and credit cards and all those sorts of things. But those are things that can be resolved. But as Ministers of Foreign Affairs, I raised with the New Zealand government the broader discussion under PACER Plus, which is free trade and free mobility, labour mobility. So I think, there's a broader platform to hold those discussions and to look at it, not just, New Zealand, Samoa or Samoa, Australia, because everyone seems to be going to these two countries. But perhaps we need to look broader about our region, what it is as a region that we offer, that people can move around, including New Zealand and Australia, in terms of investments and people and development.
Final question, gentleman here on New Zealand Green.
Aloha Prime Minister, Matt here from Pacific Media Network News. I just wanted to ask about, we are making a visit to the National University of Samoa later today. How important is education and the relationship between New Zealand and how Samoa operates and moves forward in the future?
Oh, very important. And the National University of Samoa has working arrangements with different universities in New Zealand, and those have been long-term, and we look forward to them continuing. I think I'm very pleased that the Prime Minister is visiting, because in terms of the New Zealand institutions that have been working with the National University, it's probably good for the new incoming government to have an appreciation of what has been ongoing, and we hope will continue to the future.
Aloha Prime Minister, if I could ask one question, Moana Makakiriri from Te Karere TVNZ. What is Samoa's position on New Zealand joining the AUKUS agreement?
I think I've indicated to the Deputy Prime Minister, as a region, the security arrangements that we have is vested in the Rarotonga Treaty. And both Australia and New Zealand are members of the regional organisation, the Pacific Island Forum, and we would hope that both administrations will ensure that the provisions under the Rarotonga Treaty are taken into consideration with these new arrangements.
Do you have any concern about potential nuclear weapons coming back into?
Well, no, I have no concerns about New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand is a sovereign country and it can make its own decisions. What I have indicated to the Deputy Prime Minister is that as a region that has been impacted by nuclear effect, still ongoing, especially in the North Pacific with the Marshall Islands and a semblance of it still in the south with Tahiti, that we cannot not present that voice in these international arrangements. We don't want the Pacific to be seen as an area that, you know, people will take license in terms of nuclear arrangements.
And what is the
There'll be
status
other
of Samoa?
opportunities, excuse me, there'll be other opportunities, they have some other.
Yeah, I just want to say this if I can, though. You know, some of us were there with Oscar Tomorrow in French Polynesia protesting about this issue a long, long time ago. You do know who he is, don't you? We've never forgotten our commitment then. We're not forgetting it. I'm not forgetting it now.
Hello, Fiame, Vaovasamanaia, please, just one more question. We've just come from Tonga and the Cook Islands, and now in Samoa, where Prime Minister Fiame Naomi has just welcomed you as a good friend. Particularly as you're a Samoan Matai, Vaovasamanaia, do you feel a special obligation to Samoa or a sense of responsibility to Samoa because of your status as a Matai? And how will you uphold your position as a Matai?
It's in the good book, right? About the title. I was a stranger and they took me in.
If I can ask one question from Vaovasamanaia, is New Zealand government happy with how Samoa is using the aid provided to them?
Look, we are delighted to be here and to acknowledge that sometimes in this world the whole vision of people is so negative. But when you come here and have a good hard look and look at the progress that's being made, look at the dramatic intention to upgrade and put people on the escalators of education and a better health system, yeah, we are very pleased to be here in Samoa and to pay respects for one of the greatest countries on earth, if you look at it, and have got a sense of appreciation and gratitude.
Thank you, honourable leaders, and thank you, members of the media. There'll be other opportunities today that our respected volunteers officials are organising for you. Thank you for making your time available. Thank you again.